fun.
We call this meeting the Oskaloosa City Council to order. Today is Tuesday, January 20th. We start with the invocation from Lifehouse Community Church.
My name is Adam Kyle. I'm the pastor of Lifehouse Community Church, 1513 South Market Street. Before I begin, I just want to say thank you to all you leaders. Our city really needs you guys, and we probably take you for granted more than we really know it. So I just want to say I appreciate you. This reading comes from Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14. For lack of guidance, a nation falls, but victory is won through many advisors, which is what you are. So please pray with me. Oh Lord Jesus, we love you so much, and we thank you, God, for this nation and this time that we have with you. Thank you, God, that you are our Savior and Redeemer. God, I want to pray for our leaders, but first and foremost, I want to ask for forgiveness for our sins, for the city. I want to thank you, Lord, for the things that you do for us, the blessings that we have, the running water that we have in our houses, the electricity, the food that's shipped into the city, and all the work the city council does for us, passing ordinances, keeping us safe, keeping our houses warm, and watching over all the matters that the city takes in, Lord. So my prayer tonight, Lord, is for them and their families. I pray, Lord, that you'll bless them. You'll give them good health. You'll watch over them, Lord, and protect them from the evil one and from this world, even from their own flesh at times, Lord. I ask, God, that you would lead them in the right way tonight in their meeting, and always give them wisdom and prudence and insight and much discernment. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Sword.
Here.
Ullman.
Here.
Halledury.
Here.
Dross.
Here.
Hermsen.
Here.
Holmberg.
Here.
Ibrahim.
Here.
Okay, all present and accounted for. Next item up is community comments. We don't have anyone who was asked to speak tonight, so I'll move right into the adoption of the consent agenda. These are all items that are generally routine in nature, voted upon all as one motion. I did want to draw attention to items F through J. This is the appointment of James Johnson to the Airport Commission, John Otteson to the Stephen Memorial Animal Shelter, Janet Vanderbeek to the Mahaska County Solid Waste Commission, and Randy Veldhuisen to the Mahaska County Solid Waste Commission, and also Stephen Phillips to the Mahaska County Solid Waste Commission. And yep, that's it. Do we have a motion of support for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ullman.
Yes.
Halledury.
Yes.
Dross.
Yes.
Hermsen.
Yes.
Holmberg.
Yes.
Ibrahim.
Yes.
Sword.
Yes. Okay, that passes. First item up on the regular agenda has to do with considering a resolution affirming an agreement with Mahaska County for participation in an application for a 2026 build grant for the Modes project. I believe we have a presentation on this, don't we?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I'm Andrew McGuire, I'm the County Engineer for Mahaska County. With me tonight is Wade Griman. Wade is our project manager for the MODE study that's been underway for a little over a year now, year and a half. MODE stands for Mahaska Oskaloosa Driving Economic Success, which is a planning and environmental linkages study, which is a study to evaluate an Eastern Beltway project from Highway 63 south of town, northeasterly to Highway 92, and from Highway 92 northwesterly to what the DOT is constructing as the Northwest Bypass. As part of this project, we're constantly looking for funding to move this project from a study into reality. And Wade will give a brief update on what the study is, where we've been, and where we're going, which includes the item for your consideration tonight. So I'll hand it over to Wade, and I'm sure he'll be very eloquent.
No pressure.
He also said brief. I apologize, this is not my normal voice. I'm very thankful that Sean handed out the packets for me tonight, so that I can get you all set. But the packets that we handed out was environmental assessment that follows the PEL. The PEL has been submitted for about a year and has been reviewed by the DOT and is in the hands of Federal Highway at the current time. We're still waiting for final concurrence from Federal Highway on that document, but we have also submitted the environmental assessment into the DOT for review. So once we get those comments back, we will address those and then set up another public engagement activity called a public hearing so that we can close out that environmental document and move forward into a design phase. So that's where the status of that is currently. Now this is actually the recommended preferred alternative as identified within the environmental assessment. So if you want to take the paperclip off, there is a stapled section on the very front. This document actually is to the right. If you want to turn it sideways, it's actually south and north. At the very south end, you'll see a new interchange being proposed on the northwest to southeast diagonal of 163. That's situated just northwest of the existing interchange at 275th. 275th would, in a sense, be removed in its entirety and replaced with a conventional standard diamond interchange that serves into the US 63 corridor at the intersection of where the southeast connector starts. It would follow along the southeast connector over to Highway 23 and then would pick up again with another new roadway segment that would stretch from Highway 23 east over to Osborne and then north up to 220th and then west to the northwest bypass that the Iowa DOT is currently working on. So that completes essentially a circle in the city of Oskaloosa. These subsequent sheets are, in a sense, more detailed looks at what's happening. So this next sheet, it's in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see a number D1. I'll be referring to those sheets as we go forward. D1 illustrates the interchange configuration at I-163. And you can see where it ties in at US 63 with this southeast connector corridor, thus creating a four-legged intersection. The standard diamond at the very southeast end of it would be comprised within the existing DOT right-of-way, so acquisition of land is not necessary where the ramps start. But once you get into the crossover, that's going to take up quite a bit of land that needs to be acquired. And before any acquisition can happen, you have to have environmental concurrence from Federal Highway and your environmental process is complete. The very next sheet is essentially just a little bit outside the interchange footprint. You couldn't fit this little piece on here, but this actually is a new frontage road that takes the place of what do you call it? We just call it US Highway 63 frontage road where we're keying in for crossover before the ramp to come in. We're just showing that as a continuous roadway that feeds into the US 63 corridor, with the understanding that that would not feed into Highway 63 in the future. That future access would be managed through the interchange itself. So if you go to D3, sorry, it's in D8.
Yeah, D3. Thank you.
This right here, on the very left-hand side, that is Iowa 23. So we've essentially skipped over the southeast connector because that's not technically part of the study. That's a separate action. And you'll see a line that looks like a ruler. That's a little bit north and west of the actual preferred alignment. That ruler alignment was our original alignment that we were looking at for preference. When we took a look closer at the certified site and the economic development that's happening, or planned to be happening, we wanted to make sure that we supported that in a better avenue. So we took a look at shifting that a little bit south and east to minimize those impacts for future growth within the city, and also to minimize impacts environmentally. So it's a good fit both ways. and then it does swing up and ties into Osborne, and then follows Osborne all the way up to 92. So this actually is, the top half is the south part of that segment, and the bottom half is the north half of Osborne. There's improvements. So Iowa 92 is right here. Okay, so the very next sheet, which is D4, that continues Osborne north up until you get to Norwalk Circle, which is right here in the north, which is the bottom left of the page. And then it doesn't follow the road because that's where Osborne ends. So we're traveling through agricultural land to get eventually up into 220. Now, when we proposed this in the public engagement events that we've had, we heard resounding positivity as it relates to this connection. There are some restrictions with 5 points. The site distance, the verticality of the profile, there's a lot of constraints there. So continuing this north along the Osborne Avenue corridor makes a great deal of sense from a
that's what I was just thinking about. The topography at Osborne is much better than it is on Newport, right? Because I mean, past 5 points and it's up in roller coaster. Whereas Osborne's,
as you do continue north of Norwalk Circle, there is some relief as it relates to some of the drainage facilities, but we get to make our own luck there. We can build a bridge or build an embankment with a box culvert to get a flatter profile from the roadways, thus creating a safer condition for the traveling public. If we flip over to Route 5, the top half essentially shows how that connection starts to swing northwest into 220. And you'll see Oxford actually ties into Newport Avenue. So that's essentially a through route that crosses over the new Modes corridor, and then 220th would essentially extend west until you get to existing US 63 again. And the interesting part about that is on the next sheet. D6 on the top half, you'll see where it ties in US 63, and it continues west. And Union Pacific Railroad sits just west of US 63 in that location. And it's set up very well for a grade separation over the railroad. The railroad sits approximately 20 feet below the roadway in that spot. So a bridge fits naturally. And to get over a railroad, you have to have a 23 foot 4-inch minimum clearance between the bottom of the steel and the bridge to the top of the steel and the rail. That gives you enough room for your railroad. So it's a very, very natural fit for an overpass. And as you extend west, this is about the location where that bypass comes. The very next sheet illustrates all of the movements that would happen with the existing location. So there's quite a bit of color there.
it's been a disaster since they built it. It's been a disaster since they built it.
And I'll say this, that one of the first things that Bob Lee, Department of Transportation, mentioned is we would really like us to take a look to see if there's something with that interchange. So we're recommending removing it and replacing it with a new one that's normal. This is a non-traditional configuration, and you don't really see many that that at all elsewhere. So that is, in a sense, the recommended alternative as laid out in the draft environmental assessment. And I would open it up to questions before we form the first part.
So you mentioned it's going through review now at the federal level. Assuming they give their stamp of approval, what kind of a timeline would we be looking at if everything went right on the first try? to get to actually bidding and then starting construction?
That's a great question. Can I answer that at the end?
Sure.
Because it's going to have to do with where the money's coming from. So,
Snyder's not paying for this?
so back to this spreadsheet.
Okay.
One of the things that we like to do as it relates to planning transportation projects is to discover where funding can come from. We realize the magnitude of this corridor from a cost perspective, from a timing perspective, from a public equities perspective. Property owners are going to be impacted, obviously the traveling public is going to be impacted. So the more we can do from the financial side of things, the better standing the city and the county are going to be in going forward. So one of the first things that we looked at is outside funding from the federal level. We always start at the highest level. Where can we get the money that fits the purpose and need of the project well, so that we can get that money in and offset the local costs? So we start out with community project funding. Those are the three yellow highlights on the left, on the bottom of that spreadsheet, are funding sources that have either been applied for and we're waiting here, will be applied for soon, or have already been secured. So the community project funding, CPF number 1, that was secured through Congresswoman Miller Meeks' office, and that's the funding that's been used for this Pell and NEPA study. That has been expensed. The Rural and Tribal Assistance Pilot Program, RTA, that grant was applied for earlier this last fall on behalf of the county. That is a first come, first serve funding mechanism. So they open up the funding portal at a certain date, at a certain time, and it's a race to the finish line to fill out a bunch of questions online. And to say that my hand was shaking when I was putting that in was we got it submitted within about 5 minutes of that portal opening. So, and that ask was for the maximum amount allowed, which was 2.5 million. And the focus for that funding was to be for the design to get through segment 1, which is the new interchange up to US 63. And segment 2, which would be from Iowa 23 to Iowa 92. So essentially that southeast quadrant of the city would be covered from a design perspective if that funding comes forward. Now that funding source does have a local match requirement that goes with it. So those are things that we'll talk through in a little bit. The discretionary grant, the bill, which is on your docket for tonight, for consideration, that application is due February 24th, and the ask for that is going to be $25 million. So that's the maximum that can be asked for. And that will also be asked for construction activities for that first segment and the second segment. So we have alignment and continuity between the RTA and the build grant. A lot of times the federal government likes to see alignment and continuity with your application, so that's the purpose behind that. We've also identified a few other federal aid sources that aren't highlighted, and those are things that we would want to work through with the local COG and RPA and the Iowa DOT to procure those funding sources. And then we've also identified a number of state sources, transfer of jurisdiction, USTEP and CSTEP, TSIP, which is Traffic Safety Improvement Program funds, and construction administration and observation. So none of those sources have actually been discussed at any detail with the state yet. So those are just things that we've identified as potential to come to the table with them and start to negotiate a little bit on what that looks like. So construction administration and observation, sometimes that is a mechanism by which the DOT can help to support the project. They will bring their staff in, do construction administration, documentation, especially if there's federal aid involved. The documentation with federal aid projects can be quite extensive, especially at discretionary grant program funds. And then funding for the local, we have Mahaska, City of Oskaloosa, and then Mahaska Chamber of Development. So the Mahaska Chamber of Development, those numbers are in there because they've allocated money for the Pell and NEPA studies that were already wrapped up. So those also have been expensed. We're not anticipating any further funding from them going forward unless they come to the table if they want to. But Mahaska and City of Oskaloosa, if all of these numbers, should I make the same comment? Okay. Not many consultants are going to stand up here and tell you that every number on this spreadsheet is wrong, but I'm here to tell you that almost every number on the spreadsheet is wrong. We're so early on in the planning phase that the construction costs are unknown. We're projecting them out to 2030 because, Mr. Mayor, that's about when dirt could probably start turning if everything came into play.
Okay.
We have escalation in there for inflation every year. We also have a pretty hefty contingency, but everything that you see on here is based off of no topo survey, no understanding of actual quantities for earthwork and so forth, but they're pretty conservatively high. So we'd like to have those high this early on in the phase so that we can maximize our grant applications. So that helps to further reduce the amount of local funding. So you can see that the total cost for segment 1 and segment 2 being a little over $51 million. And if these numbers were to play out true, the cost for the city in Mahaska County would be $933,000 each for a $51 million project.
As long as Mr. McGuire sitting there gets all these other grants, right? So if Andrew is successful in getting all these other grants, we as a city and county could get $51 million of roads for $2 million. Right? I mean, that's what hypothetically in a utopian world. Thanks for your efforts, Andy.
You're welcome, Bob. But yes, your observation is accurate. There are 10 different funding sources on here, 6 on the federal side and 4 on the state side, and none of them have been negotiated yet aside from CPF, which we've already received. We've applied for rural and tribal assistance, with the support from city council, from the city staff as well. And we're here to talk about specifically that bill grant opportunity. The bill grant application is due February 24th at 5 p.m. Eastern time, probably.
Eastern time.
Yeah. So we're very aware of when that needs to be submitted. We already have approval from the Mahaska County Board of Supervisors to move forward. So the contract is signed with Snyder & Associates, and we are moving forward with this. What we're here to ask for support from the city as we've had thus far at the 50% level. For the CPF grant, we were at 40%, 40% city, county, and 20% of the local match coming from the chamber. Visiting with the chamber, they're just not in a position to move forward with this. But at a $38,000 price tag, it's significant, but not overly significant. It would slow us down by not having that partnership, and we really do appreciate that partnership with the chamber. But we would really like to continue this partnership that we've had with City Council so far on this project, and this is a very, very large project for a community of this size. It's been some of the work that I've been the most proud of in my professional career, working on the Southeast Connector and working on these projects to get to this point. So it's very exciting for me as a civil engineer to be able to work on a project like this and to work together, two entities that, how do I want to say this, maybe have strained relationships at times, but when we all pull on the same rope, it's really impressive what can get done, and I'm confident we can get this thing going as well. And I want to applaud Wade and his team's work on this project because it's been very, very professional and very, very progressive as far as how we're coming along with all of these items. And just to put this document together and stand before you and say that, hey, these are all the wrong numbers, takes a bit of political fortitude. And that's one thing that, we as engineers dread is one, talking about money because there are so many unknowns. And then secondly, talking about timeframes because there are so many unknowns. And so we have to give you the best roadmap that we can, and that's what we're doing right now. So, Councilman Drost, I guess what my response is I will do my best, but I definitely need some help, and that's what we're here to ask for from City Council and staff as well.
Yeah, it sounds like this all starts with a nudge from us as well. Just, you can't really get out of the starting blocks without support.
Yes, sir.
If I could add one thing too. With the bill grant application, there's a section for letters of support. And so we're drafting an example letter of support that we could bring to you hopefully your signature, Mr. Mayor, at some point.
Yep.
That we can include with the packet showing the city's full support of the project and trying to procure that funding. So, Sean, if you want, I can coordinate that through you.
Okay. Other questions from council?
I've got one question. We've got the discretionary grants to building that. Would you say that's similar to what we got on the Southeast Connector through the state with the RISE grant?
It's
Similar type things where it goes to construction?
It's similar in that sense, yeah, that's what we're applying for, right-of-way acquisition, utility relocation, construction, design, development, all of the things that go into it, that is what the application is for. Similar to what the RISE grant was. The difference is that RISE grant is administered at the state level, this is administered at the federal level. So the oversight associated with this is gonna be much, much more involved. All of the provisions with any federal grant will apply to this, Build America, Buy America, Davis-Bacon, all of those things will apply to this, where those don't apply to the RISE grant side of things.
Okay. Is there any chance to get a RISE grant on this project? Would it qualify or no?
Yeah.
And I know we just got awarded the largest
Yeah.
one that the state's ever awarded, but
Right.
let's get greedy here.
So obviously, the Highlights Iowa Sun County grant is associated with job creation. And whether that's prospective or guaranteed, those are two things. So when we have a 500-acre certified industrial site, to say that we're gonna get additional job creation out there, it's not impossible, but it's gonna be a little bit more challenging to demonstrate where that's going to come from. Am I saying that we should not apply? Absolutely not. We will absolutely explore that as an opportunity. It's just one of those things where what opportunities do we have directly in front of us? And I think the ones that we have laid out are the ones that are probably the lower hanging fruit. I would say that the RISE piece is gonna be just a little bit higher.
Yeah. Thank you.
Other council? Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So the agenda item is the recommendation from staff that the council approve a resolution approving agreement with Mahaska County to participate in the build grant application. Do we have a motion of support?
So moved.
Second. I'll fight you.
So unanimous it is. Roll call, please.
Allegary.
Yeah.
Dross.
Yes.
Hermson.
Yes.
Colbert.
Yes.
Ibrahim.
Yes.
Sword.
Yes.
Coleman.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item B, the code enforcement report. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Another year down. October 1st through December 31st. With this being your first one, the goal of the program is to encourage private property owners to maintain their properties within established community standards and to uphold the City Council directive to eliminate nuisance conditions that negatively affect community appeal, reduce community pride, and threaten to reduce property values. So in the fourth quarter of 2025, you can see there were 104 total cases so far. It says 86 of those have been closed. I know 4 more since then that have been closed, with one today that probably took about 2.5 hours of continuous cleanup by one of our local garbage companies. So it's been a ongoing issue. We've worked with our city attorney on this property. We tried to give them every opportunity to take care of things themselves to no avail. So we could have went with a daily fine up to a certain point, but then we still had the eyesore. So we went ahead and scheduled the emergency abatement, and they came out today, and we did a pretty substantial cleanup on that. So show you some of these other ones. Obviously, some of these are ones that we do, and then some of them are the ones the residents do themselves. We'll start, I'm sorry, I'll go, I'll back up. Of the 104 cases, you can see 2 dilapidated brush pile and trees, 7 with 5 of those being closed. Hard surface parking or inoperable vehicles, 22 of those with 20 closed. Garbage and junk, 54. I'm going to say 46 of those have been closed. Grass and snow, 16, and those were all taken care of. And that at this time of year, obviously, majority of that was snow, and I commend this residents that when we do notify them, they do take care of that. So,
Cool.
as the numbers indicate, animals and fowl, too, and you will start seeing those go up more with chickens that we are finding in town. So, something we're probably gonna be, dealing with here, moving forward. So, and then miscellaneous, one, I'm not even sure what that one was, but,
Chief,
it's taken care of. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, help me remember, so when you talk about the rise with fowl, chickens and so forth, is that because they're getting out of pens? Or is it just because the pens are becoming out of?
Usually what we'll do is we get a call from a neighbor that says, hey, something, either one's out or this is how many they have, is this okay? So we go and we have a piece of paper printed up with the city regulations on it, and we usually drop a green tag in that paper so they know what the process is moving forward for them to register to have those animals.
Okay,
Thank you.
For the viewing public, what is the number of chickens that are permitted?
5 or 6.
I'm going to defer to and is that something didn't you just have a meeting recently on this?
They're looking at revising.
Yeah, so we may have, revisions coming up to it. but
Oh, okay.
Just to make sure that, they're registered and on file, that we know where they're at in case we have ongoing issues, because obviously we continue to have an issue with the same person. At some point, we're gonna have to move forward with some kind of,
Mm-hmm.
way to eliminate those, nuisance calls.
Yep.
Chicken catcher.
Enforcement.
Following are, like I said, some of the examples of things that either the residents cleaned up themselves or we did. We'll start with 922 South F. This was eviction. This property has kind of been an eyesore for us and a problem for us for quite some time. We did have to do an abatement on it for the stuff that you see in the far right picture, the plywood board there, all that was garbage and trash. That was what the main abatement was for. We did get that done, and then the owner came in right after that, and you'll see in the next picture, got a roll off, and himself, he cleaned everything up himself, and is working on getting that property sold to someone else for future plans, which at this point I'm not 100% sure of. So, but it's clean now. Some of the windows are boarded up, but the property's as clean as it's been for many, many years. The next picture or slide you'll see is the camper that we talked about last council meeting that is now at the snow dump. This was left on the street. You can see the front end is completely missing from it. There's a huge hole in the driver's side right all the way back. At least 4 holes were attempted to be thrown through the windshield. It was an absolute eyesore. I know Ben's office, our department and my department worked with them. We thought we had time frame. We did have time frames that they were going to meet to get that taken out. It did not happen. Worked with the city attorney, and we now have a plan in place to, get those off the street, charge them accordingly on a daily basis. The stuff that's on the left and right of the camper are things that they actually took out of the camper when the camper went there, that we then had to notify the property owner of. The camper, I don't really think belonged to that person that actually owned that property, but next picture you will see it did get cleaned up. So.
And we didn't have to haul off the camper, Scott?
What's that?
They hauled the camper off themselves?
No, we had to.
We did have to, okay.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to 605. Just one, like I said, we driving through doing code enforcement, noticed this and dropped the green tag, and they complied themselves. Got everything taken care of, as you can see in the next picture. So that was a good one. And then This is the property over 6th Avenue West by the railroad tracks. I believe it's actually city-owned property, if I'm not mistaken. There were 3 cars there for a long time. Somebody selling them privately on city-owned property. When we noticed these 3 and went down to 2, we put green tags on these 2, and owners took care of this situation by themselves.
So many different situations that you find yourself in. Questions from council?
I appreciate it. I sent Scott a message a couple days ago. I was off and I had a neighbor, and the very next day he says we're on it. So I appreciate your work. I know you guys have enough to do, but
That's another one that's a tough one, the one that we're talking about.
yeah,
is that
I
it's
appreciate
a
your work though.
Ongoing, issue that it gets cleaned up and then it gets remediated. So, maybe a thing with, the municipal infractions that we just started with Chief, that got going, that we may be throwing some language at you in the near future or in the upcoming months that will allow us to, not just keep dropping green tags, but at some point, starting the municipal infraction on these people to get things taken care of. Last meeting, I know Andy had a couple areas of concern that he stated at the end. The railroad crossings are both gone, and the wood, as I sent an email, I think the mayor, the wood on North Market, they were in Arizona, and they will be taking care of that hopefully by the end of the summer.
Thank you, I appreciate that email also.
Well done.
Any other questions?
Okay,
I wish
thank you, Chief.
I wish his job could slow down, but it never seems to slow down, does it?
Item C. This is to approve a request reflecting the dates for promotions and activities for the Mahaska Chamber Development Group. They'll be using city property, associated street closures, etc. Do we have a motion of support for their calendar?
Moved.
Second?
Okay, any discussion? Roll call.
Drost,
Yes.
Hermsen,
Yes.
Holberg,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Sword,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Calgery,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item D, this is the second reading of an ordinance having to do with animal control. This is chapter 6.04 of the city code. This amendment includes some fees for dangerous dog appeal requests. Also corrects the number of superficial errors in the previous code. So regarding animal leash law, nuisance animal noise, animal immunizations, and violence of a dangerous dog. Do we have a motion of support for the second reading?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on this? Roll call, please.
Hermsen,
Yes.
Holberg,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Sword,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Calgery,
Yes.
Drost,
Yes.
Okay, that gets us to item, that passes. Item E. This is to consider a resolution setting the date for a public hearing. It's on plan specs and authorizing the advertisement of bids for 8th Avenue West reconstruction project. Garden and Associates prepared the plans and specs. Scope of work is to the removal of the existing surface on 8th Avenue West from South M to the west dead end, the construction of a 27-foot wide PCC roadway, addition of sidewalk on the south side of the street, which is the design option council selected at the meeting on October 6th last year. Work includes, but not limited to, 1,215 square yards of PCC pavement, 256 square yards of PCC driveways, 146 square yards of PCC sidewalk, and surface removals, subgrade prep, subbase, site cleanup, and surface restoration. Engineer estimate, $190,539. This would put the hearing be done. Notice to proceed would be issued on or around April 20th of 2026 with 30 working days. Bids would be received and opened on February 19th at 11 o'clock a.m. and then presented to council for a public hearing on March 2nd of 26. Do we have a motion of support for doing the public hearing on March 2nd?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Holberg,
Yes.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Sword,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Calgery,
Yes.
Drost,
Yes.
Hermsen,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item F. This is to consider an ordinance to amend Chapter 10.68 regarding bicycles in in the city of Oskaloosa, basically taking away the necessity to register them.
I didn't even know we had that.
Chief Finer before we pass
A
this.
limited window there. It's only the first reading. Do you have a motion to have the first reading or support?
So moved. Second.
Any comments, suggestions?
Are we just cleaning up stuff? Because I'm not trying to be funny, but
That makes sense.
I never. No.
My son's got a bike.
Not
I
at
don't
all.
know.
So, I appreciate that. This was in the start stock continue list as a suggestion because in 2009 when we started this, there was a massive number of cars that came in and good records, but now bicycles are basically disposable. We have on average about 1 or 2 registrations a year. We have not solved any stolen bicycles based on registration, so it's just become a no longer necessary process that doesn't take a lot of time, but we're keeping the records for no reason
Yeah,
whatsoever.
yeah.
Just time to clean that up and delete it at all possible.
Sean, do you have your unicycle registered?
That is not covered in the code.
Other comments or questions from council? Okay, thank you, Chief. Roll call, please.
Ibrahim,
Yes.
Sword,
Yes.
Almond.
Yes.
Caligiuri.
Yes.
Dross.
Yes.
Hermson.
Yes.
Holbert.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item G is the consideration and action on amending chapters 10.60 of the OSKI code relative to abandoned or junk vehicles. This has to do with the problems we've had with vehicles due to reluctance of towing companies to tow and impound some of them. To address the problems and provide expanded powers and authority from the police department to deal with and address the vehicles, the proposal is to have the chapter amended to add additional alternative steps that can be taken. Do we have a motion of support for the second reading?
Move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Sword,
Yes.
Almond.
Yes.
Caligiuri.
Yes.
Dross.
Yes.
Hermson.
Yes.
Holbert.
Yes.
Ibrahim.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item H, this is the monthly update for the YMCA natatorium.
Yay,
Council. You know, I was just thinking about this as I was reviewing the agenda. It's kind of nice to have the natatorium update on the same agenda as we're approving the pay apps, so you can say, hey, where's my money going to? With that, we'll get into some updates. So this is the splash pad area. As you can see, the nice wave feature on the splash pad, and some of the accessories have been installed. The next one. This is kind of the view. I thought this was unique because a lot of the windows are currently taped up, and part of that is just because of the ongoing construction. And the other side of this divider wall, there still needs to be some sponge blasting take place, so we really want to keep the windows protected and Canco to be able to focus on the project instead of taking down tape and whatnot. But there is a section that is out, and so I thought this was just unique to be able to see this from the workout area. So if you had littles or something that you could bring in, or just a unique feature, I guess, that maybe we weren't anticipating, or maybe the design team was at that time. But again, just a unique view from up there. Just some more progress to capture. These are the heaters. I believe we kind of showed this the last time, but the white piping, and there's been much more installation to that at the bottom. I think before they were just kind of mounted on the wall, so just continues to be progress with subs there. And then this is just the middle picture is kind of the start of the tile on the decking in the recreation pool. Just a different view on the left, and then I tried to capture a view from the other side to kind of see how it looks with the cutouts there, and the tile to match it, and then the trim on the bottom as well. Progress on the competition pool. So about every 4 days they're continuing to do pours on this. So as you can see, the one on the left kind of captures the going up to the shallow end is complete, all 3 of those sections. And then the middle 4 kind of are meant to capture that they are also doing the deck slabs as well. So have to be pretty strategic because at some point the big truck you see on the
Yeah.
left-hand side will no longer fit in there.
Yeah.
So trying to kind of do some of the slab pours so that can get in there and we don't have to go back to the days of wheelbarrows and things. So yeah, just every day there's progress being made on the pours and like I said, not every 4 days they're able to pour and kind of fill in. It's a checkerboard, so pour one, leave a section, come back in a few days and be able to do that. So next steps, some of these are kind of boring because the pours are still, we'll probably have 4 to 6 more weeks on those, so we'll continue to do those. Alex, do you want to scroll back up maybe just as a win? I wasn't intentionally doing this, sorry. So the wall there, so they'll be on site actually starting tomorrow to start putting in the finishing divider walls in here. So there's one section with plastic there you can see just on the far right hand side. That'll be finished, and then they are going to start where the plastic is on the left hand side next to the green there, because those tilers need to come around that corner and need to be coming around the corner quickly. So that's kind of the critical path is starting tomorrow. They will start installing those doors and windows that go there and then work their way down the wall so the tilers can keep working. So yeah, sorry. And then the last thing would be continue to do some roof work. And then we got word that the translucent panels, which are the panels that are around the gym currently and part of the natatorium, are set to arrive. So whether maybe they can start working on some of that and we can get rid of some more plywood.
Cool.
Great job.
Questions on that?
Are we still on track?
Still on track. Yep. I'm hoping at the next meeting I can kind of bring the critical path things to show just of what the critical path is, which would be installing the scaffolding so that they can do the work and then work their way down, sponge blasting the walls and things, but not going to have the for sure date. It's about 5 weeks out. So, in our monthly meeting, we look at the 5 week date. By next council meeting, we should have those dates.
That's
All
awesome.
right.
Cool.
Good job. Thanks,
All
Jess.
right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Gets us to item I. This is a discussion item. The Department of Justice Burn Justice Assistance Grant, or JAG Community Project Funding Program. That back in May, Council approved and ratified an application for a grant through Representative Miller Meek's office. Contacted the city manager. We put the grant together. Chief, then what happened?
Oh, boy.
Well, I don't have a full update, but I'll see if I can get you a cheer for something. So, if you may remember, back in April when our city manager started, one of the first contacts he had was with Representative Miller Meek's office. They called him and said, hey, we have some grant opportunities available. Would you be interested? So I'm sitting at Trio with my wife having dinner, and I get a call from the city manager at about 5 o'clock at night saying, we have to do a grant. I don't really have any more details than that because we didn't at the time. So after making a few phone calls and trying to discover what was the grant supposed to be for and what kind of terms were we looking at, we didn't know if it was 50,000, 100,000, what the deal was. We finally heard, try and keep it under $1 million, which opens it up a little bit. So Sector is a company in Urbandale that does our vehicle outfitting right now. Ryan Serber, the president and CEO of Sector, opened it and created his business about 5 years ago. He used to work for Caltech and some other technology companies. He's from Montezuma. He spent a lot of time in Oskaloosa as a kid. I met with him today. He talks about scooping the loop here on High Avenue. He has spent a significant amount of time here and loves our community. So when I call him and say, I need to put together a grant application very quickly for under $1 million, he says, I can do that. Give me a few days and then we'll come down and talk. They drove down here. I had to have a chat with him because he left about $255 on the table, but we put in a grant for $999,745. This was for criminal justice related technology upgrades, some of which we drastically need and some of which we never thought to even ask for unless the money's available. So we threw in the grant. We found out more recently, last Thursday or Friday, that we were actually granted half of that, so $500,000.
Nice.
We weren't,
Yeah.
we weren't sure if we were going to get any of it, and the grant was very quickly put together, but we put it together, we submitted it, council ratified it, and then we just waited, and we heard nothing this entire time until last week. So it has not been signed by the president yet, but it has been passed by the House and the Senate overwhelmingly bipartisan, and it should be signed by the president any day. Beyond that, we don't have much information. I don't know if you've had contact from the office. I know you sent an email.
That's where we're at with it,
Yeah. But when we look at these different grants, she had 3 different grants that she got for this quarter, and none of them were police departments except us. Knoxville got something, and Muscatine got something pretty similar for water mains and sewer lines. But they apparently liked our grant enough that it's going to give us a significant boost that we can apply to criminal justice in the city, which is it's a huge deal for us. So it's a good day for Oskaloosa. The money's going to go somewhere. I'd rather come here.
You bet.
So
You bet.
Chief, just as an example, what would be something that you're
that's in that.
that you're wanting?
Yeah, we've been looking at a lot of things. We do not have any LPR capability currently. So Knoxville has LPR, Washington has LPR. We are in that stretch of 92 that we don't have that capability. What LPR does is, with our cars or either pull-mounted LPRs, it gives us an opportunity to, if we have a robbery in town, or if we have an aggravated assault,
Yep.
and we know the suspect, we can put that information into the computer, and as soon as one of the machines sees the car, even if we don't see it, it'll alert us instantly, tell us where it's at and which direction it's going, and it gives us much better investigative capabilities. Flock is one of the companies that a lot of people are using right now. There's a little controversy in Cedar Rapids with privacy issues, but really what it comes down to is if you manage the system properly and you're dumping data every 30 days, we're not holding on to historical data about where people are going. We're just setting it up for triggers, and then, for example, if that same suspect that we're looking for is in Des Moines, we have access to that database too, and if one of the LPRs in Des Moines sees it, it'll send us a message saying it's in Des Moines, so we can call them and have them pick these people up, or at least stop them and field interview and find out what's going on. So that's one of the things. We also have very old intoxication investigation and interview rooms. Right now, they're not really being used. The hard drives are failed, and we have repaired them 3 times in the time I've been here, and the vendor will no longer repair them. So we don't have, basically we're using our body cameras as backups for our interviews where we should have centralized cameras. The county also uses our technology in the law center because we have more of the interviews that we're recording. So our upgrade would help them, but it would primarily help us for the most part. There's some other things. There's some drone technology in there that we're not sure how much we're going to do. I met with Ryan today because we got half of what we're asking for, so that means we've got to cut our budget down a little bit too and figure out what's right to do and what's not. So once we actually know what the grant is going to be, we'll have to formally accept the grant, and then we'll have a proposal brought to council for how we're going to apply the grant. But we've got some ideas.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Good ideas.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well done.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well done.
You should have seen Sean do the happy dance.
See, that kind of stole your thunder a little bit. Sorry.
You can buy some more cars. You can get some more cars.
Outstanding stuff. Other comments or questions from council? Well done, Chief. Thank you.
Yeah, that was good.
That gets us to the end of our agenda.
We might as well adjourn on that.
Yeah. Reports from city staff. City manager, anything?
Yes, so February 2nd, Nuclear Engineering is planning to come to a study session to give us their updates on what they've been doing. They have requested that we meet at 4:30 to 7 time.
4:30, February 2nd?
4:30.
Okay.
4:30.
February 2nd, yep.
Yep.
And then, just a reminder, we'll have the budget session February 3rd at 5 o'clock. And we are planning to provide a light meal there, just so you're aware of that.
What, bologna sandwiches?
Whatever Alex wants.
Yeah, one for Joe.
Just
okay.
Just for Joe. One bologna sandwich.
And then February 17th, Edmondson Golf Group, they're coming to do a presentation then. So that would be at Monday is the
Right,
President's Day.
President's Day, okay.
And other than that, I just want to thank our staff for everything that they're doing. There's so many cool things happening right now. And it's really fun and exciting to be a part of, so I appreciate them and the council for your support and everything we're doing. So that's all I have.
Okay, very good. City clerk.
Yes, sir.
Okay, city attorney.
I would have nothing, thank you.
Okay. Javin, anything?
No, nothing. Just an amazing meeting, so.
Okay. You did a great job with it, by the way.
Thank you.
Joe.
We were talking about chickens earlier. I just looked up our city code. I thought there was a number.
I did too.
Yeah, but all it says, regarding chickens keeping, only female chickens are allowed, and that's it. I don't know how many.
Are you looking in the zoning ordinance? It's-
Yeah,
it's
zoning.
Supplemental regulations, I think 17 point something's in there.
1706, 17.06.120.
I think there are limitations though with the, there's a grid, yeah,
there's a
with
limit.
the
Well,
agriculture, or the zoning districts and
Okay.
agriculture.
I just pulled
business.
it up real quick, but I
feet?
do recall reading that there was a number
Is it a
in
number
there.
or is it a
I
square?
thought it was either 5 or 6. But just FYI.
Okay. Andy.
I thought Joe was getting ready to start a side business.
Trash valet, I think, was
Yeah.
the term that was used.
Where he's gonna put all the chickens.
Just would like to certainly thank our first responders and appreciate the work that you guys are doing, and yeah, keep up the good work, guys. Make sure and pass it along to your teams as well. Thank you.
Janet.
Yeah, ditto what Andy said, and also I know that the temperatures are getting cold out there, so also thank you to the utility workers as well. So we appreciate what everybody does in this community, so thank you.
Bob.
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, Rhonda.
I just want to mention, we had a conversation in coffee 2 weeks ago, and we have it again on Saturday, and I intended Abu and Bob, and this Saturday could be very interesting for all of us, so I'm actually looking forward to going to it. 8:30 again, right?
8:30, Smoky Row.
Smoky Row.
Free coffee.
Could be interesting, so that's all.
Okay. Abu.
Everyone's already said it, so I'm good.
Okay. Had one question, let's see. On North Market Street, by Fins and Things, we have a center lane sign that is bent over.
Oh, yeah.
And so I've been asked who's got the jurisdiction over that sign. I'm assuming it's a state thing.
It's a state, don't it?
But do we have permission or any agreements regarding signage to straighten out things such as that?
I don't know that we would want to touch their equipment necessarily, but I can certainly contact them and see if there's
Okay.
concern.
Okay. I'm thinking with the temperatures the way they are, if it has to come out of the ground frozen, all that, it'd be a slow process. But okay, so there's that. Yeah, Rhonda mentioned the coffee and conversation, and again, 8:30 at Smoky Row. Yeah, it should be very interesting. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So, second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
I